Michael.
Hey, Ricky.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
You want to know the truth?
Yes.
I feel violated.
Oh,
I feel
I'm
personally.
so sorry.
I feel violated, and I feel like there's been an invasion of my privacy, and I am just kind of not really happy right now.
What happened?
Well, someone called me up and said, "Mike, I saw some stuff on the news," and I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, it's pretty wild." So I started going to the sites. And all suddenly I start reading this stuff and I'm thinking, okay, that's pretty personal. And the next thing I thought, okay, I okay, I'm gonna share some of the articles with you. Okay.
Okay.
NASA, who I don't know who James is, but it says it takes a new image of Uranus. Well, of my anus. Okay. And then, so I thought, okay, maybe that's something else. The Webb telescope catches never before seen image of Uranus. Okay, I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know who this Hubble guy is. Okay, you think that's bad? Here we go. NASA, Uranus has never looked better. Now I appreciate that, but again, it's personal to me. I don't believe that they should have anything to do with me. It's personal. Then it says a new Hubble photo shows Uranus looking paler than ever. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, number one, what are you trying to tell me? I mean, do I need a colonoscopy? I'm getting this, and then this is James, then it says just took a truly incredible photo of Uranus. Okay. Now and after a while I'm going, okay, I can deal with it. But then I say hidden rings of Uranus revealed in a dazzling new James Webb telescope image. Okay, one, Astrum Marine. I mean, they say on here I have dusty rings around my anus, and I'm.
I don't think that means what you think it means.
I don't have rings in my anus.
Let's start the show. It's the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Poe. I mean,
and
the thing is, in Uranus, it's personal. I always thought that Hubble scope's supposed to be looking up into space, not down in my anus. But anyhow, and who is this James Webb anyhow? Because I'm going to find him. I'm going to make sure he gets a piece of my mind. Just my mind. So anyway, well, there's tonight, folks. Besides that terrible cold open, we're going to talk about the Mandalorian episode 7 or whatever.
Yes.
chapter 23. I don't know.
Yes, chapter 23.
Okay.
The Spies,
which is funny because it's plural. But I don't. So anyway, but the Spies. But anyhow,
I have a theory.
Yes, I've. It'd be interesting to see what your theory is and what mine is.
I've read some other theories.
I have too.
I like my theory.
Okay. So tonight we'll be talking about that. But first, we do have some nerdy news.
Yes.
Mr. Ricky Pope, what do we have?
Several different things going on right now. First of all, box office update, because I like talking box office. Super Mario Brothers movie has killed it for a second weekend, taking the box office. 92 million domestically this weekend alone. That's a domestic total of $353 million so far. and
Insane.
worldwide almost 700 million.
Oh my
So
goodness.
expect there to be more Super Mario movies in this vein.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Now,
have you ever
I read,
thought, man, go ahead.
I was going to say, I did read one article that was very concerned with how well Super Mario's had done because they are desperately afraid there will be a slew of really bad copycat movies from
Oh yeah,
other
well,
franchises.
yes, there always is. I mean, like the Transformers, Transmorphers, yeah. I'm sure
Uh,
there will be.
so, what were you going to ask?
No, are you surprised that something like this after the the debacle of the 1980s Mario Brothers, are you surprised
I
that
I am pleasantly surprised.
yeah,
I honestly, having seen the trailers, knowing the casting,
yeah,
I thought this will probably be pretty good in general.
mhm, yeah,
I wasn't expecting it to hit $500 million in 2 weeks.
yeah. I
I,
I wouldn't
I
have
mean,
guessed it.
I this has a real shot of hitting 1 billion worldwide,
Yeah, it's
and
pretty amazing.
that puts it in up with some of the best movies ever.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side of that, there was a new release this weekend
Mhm.
that did much poorer than I expected.
Okay.
Nick Cage's new Dracula movie, Renfield,
Yes.
came
Yeah.
in fourth place.
Yeah.
Now, with an R rating, so it does have an R rating. R ratings have notoriously driven down box office numbers.
Yeah.
We all know that,
Yeah.
but it only did 8 million over the weekend.
Oh my.
Oh my. I'm not even sure that covers Nick Cage's paycheck.
I don't yeah, exactly. What I was kind of
My
thinking
daughter just sent me a text that says Renfield is so weird. I think she can hear us talking.
oh
I
yeah.
think I think she went to the movies last night, and I think they may have gone to see Renfield.
Oh, that would be interesting to see how that went.
Uh, yeah, she said she just saw it last night. Oh my gosh. Uh, but
Oh my
so
goodness.
anyway, 8 million.
8 million.
8 million. That is, I mean, to hit number 4 is bad enough.
Yeah.
But to only hit 8
Only
million, I mean,
$1 million.
John Wick did better.
Yeah.
Wick came in third.
Yeah.
A movie I've never even heard of came in second,
That's amazing.
called The Pope's Exorcist.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm like, what? I've never seen a trailer for that movie, and it did better than Renfield
Yeah.
with Nick Cage in it.
Yeah. But
So interesting box office numbers. Um, Marvel dropped a new trailer for The Marvels.
I saw that.
So if you are not familiar with this movie, this brings together all of the possible Captain Marvels in the Marvel,
Yes.
and is a apparently is a direct sequel to the Ms. Marvel TV show uh, uh, that I have not finished watching. So apparently, I need to watch the last episode at least
Yeah. At least, yeah.
because there's some little bit there that makes sense for the movie. There's going to be some place swapping and
Mm,
not body swapping, but place
yeah.
swapping, and we are going to get to see Monica Rambeau's uh, photon binary Ms.
Yeah.
Marvel.
Just,
Not sure. We don't have a name for her yet.
no, we don't.
So I'm not sure how that's going to work, but in the comics, she was a Ms. Marvel. And then we're going to see uh, Ms. Marvel from the Disney TV show reprise
Gotcha.
her role as the as well as Captain Marvel from the original Captain Marvel movie.
Gotcha.
So I don't know where you are in that, whether you're excited about it or not, but they did drop a trailer. The trailer looks pretty good.
I saw it. Yeah, looks pretty good.
CGI looks pretty good.
Hmm.
I'm hopeful that it's gonna be a good movie. I'm not sure where it fits into the world of Kang the Conqueror,
Yeah,
so I'm not sure how it fits into that process,
and the
and it's
secret,
possible it doesn't.
yeah, and somehow it kind of some of the footage of Nick Fury, he's still up in that spaceship with the with Quill.
Which I'm a little confused there.
Yeah,
Does that mean Marvel's happens before Secret Invasion?
yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Because I think Secret Invasion is going to come out first.
I I can't
I
remember.
could be wrong.
Could be wrong. Yeah, I don't remember when it's
Marvel's
coming
does
out.
have a November release date,
Okay.
so we'll have to wait and see that there. Um, just over a year ago, Amazon completed their purchase of the MGM movie catalog. I
Oh
don't know
my
if
goodness.
if you were
Yeah.
familiar with that. That put a lot of properties into their hands. Deadline is reporting that there are plans to start rebooting or at least developing some of those properties, including RoboCop, Stargate.
Oh, Stargate. I
Yes.
read about that.
Some that I'm not as excited about: Legally Blonde, Fame,
Mm,
and Barbershop.
yeah.
The Magnificent Seven, if you were a Western fan,
Western. Yeah.
and the Pink Panther,
Mm.
Inspector Clouseau, the French
Yes.
detective movies,
Yes.
comedies from the 70s. So if you're into any of those, oh, and also Rocky, there's talk of some other Rocky spinoffs coming.
Hmm.
And Deadline was suggesting that this is probably going to be a combination, and a lot of these will be film adaptations and TV adaptations.
Gotcha.
So expect some of
Yeah.
this to show up on Amazon Prime, some of them to be series, while some are just one off shows or one off
Mm.
movies.
Yeah.
HBO made a big, in the streaming world,
Yeah,
HBO
exactly.
made a big announcement. It is changing its name to just Max. It's dropping the HBO
Okay.
from the streaming services name
Okay.
because it's bringing in Discovery Plus.
Yeah,
So
okay.
Max will be HBO and Discovery Plus combined.
Gotcha. Okay.
So probably expect to open up the app and have two different directions you can go. I don't know if they'll mix all the content together or
Mm.
if it'll be click here to see HBO content, click here to see
Fair
Discovery
to
Plus
see.
content.
Yeah, gotcha.
The pricing tiers are expected to remain the same, except they are going to add an additional high end tier with 4K content.
Okay.
So, so that
Okay.
could be a
Well,
thing. Um, uh, for those like me who get HBO Max for free because they have an AT&T phone plan, um, right now the plan is for it to stay as is. You're
okay.
still going to get it. However, now that AT&T doesn't own HBO Max, it's all under Warner Brothers. I don't know how long that'll last.
Hmm. Yeah.
So you might have to start paying. Last but not least, with Young Sheldon expected to come to a close within the next season, season
Hmm.
7 that's upcoming, Warner Brothers announced on press day that Chuck Lorre, who created Young Sheldon and The Big Bang Theory, is in development on a new spin-off project. Unfortunately, there's no real info on it.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
know if it's going to be another prequel. What prequel would they do? Uh, you know, uh, a young Amy, or I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know who
I
they
don't
would
know.
do.
I don't know.
um, or if they're going to do another do some kind of sequel to the
Yes.
original,
Yeah.
or some parallel project where they're able to bring in. Some suggest it's going to be a whole new cast, a whole new show, with the possibility to bring original cast back as special guests from time to time.
It's gonna
So
do
that would
that
be
whole.
more like
Huh.
a that'd be almost more like a parallel project. But
Yeah. It's
I don't know
almost.
how that'll.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I'm not sure that I want to see a young Leonard series
No, I don't
with
either.
his mom giving using him as a test subject
It's a test subject
constantly.
constantly. No, I don't think I want to see that either. I would rather see something, maybe a sequel to the show. It's already done with young Sheldon. It's just kind of like, okay, we're done with that. If we're going to do
You
a
know,
spinoff or the comic book
Raj,
guy,
hey, comic book guy. Now that could be a show.
yeah, yeah,
He and his girl could run the comic shop. They could have all sorts of adventures and
it's
have
right.
tons of guest stars show up.
Yeah,
Another option is Raj never landed with a woman.
no,
He never got married.
no,
Um, you know, we could follow Raj around
yeah,
and
why
see
not?
his adventures in astronomy and looking at
Yeah,
Uranus.
exactly. At my whoa, well, that's personal. My
Honestly,
okay,
I wasn't going to do that callback because when I wrote this, I didn't know you were going to do that cold opening. So I came up that with the spur of the moment.
nice, nice.
That's all the nerdy news I have. Do you have anything else?
I can't think of anything to add to that right now. So I think that was pretty good, pretty good.
All
The
right.
only
Well,
thing
I was going to say, do you think it's time for some stupid news?
I think it's time for some weird and stupid news.
It's the weird and stupid news with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
Well, you find love in a lot of interesting places.
Like
It's
Uranus?
bad. Yeah, like Uranus, looking for love in all the wrong anuses. Uh,
This is so bad.
why do we do this? Oh,
You did it, my friend, not
I
me.
know. Mm. Speaking
Uh,
of love in all the wrong places, or maybe the right places, depending how you feel, there's a woman who married a rag doll and claimed that she is pregnant with their second child. Why do we do
with
this every week? I don't understand this.
oh, my favorite part of that comment is second. If you said child, that would be funny.
Yes.
Second child
Be their second
is
child. Yes.
extremely. Oh my gosh, is that really from the article?
That is actually from the article.
Oh my gosh.
I wish I could make this up. I think it was Roca Morales. Moraes. Yes. Moraes of Brazil showed off a positive pregnancy test on TikTok, saying she hopes it will strengthen the couple after finding out her husband cheated on her.
Oh
The
my
30,
gosh.
the 37-year-old already has a son with her ragdoll husband, but she said it's time that they are hoping for a girl. I don't know why I even do this. This makes why do we do this every week?
Oh,
Okay,
oh my. Okay, no. Okay,
okay,
I don't always fact check you,
yes,
so I went to go look this one up,
okay. Go ahead. I
and
know. Fact check me. I
on
know.
YouTube News,
Hmm.
there's another post,
Yes.
another article where
Okay.
she says he cheated on her with another woman.
Oh my good.
You thought I was gonna say it's fake.
Yeah, I was thinking, but you just added to the legitimacy of this.
That is legitimately on YouTube News. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my goodness.
Oh,
Where do
oh,
I go from here? This is what do you um here's the
I'm sorry.
no, I don't know what to do. This is
Oh,
Okay. Well, let's. She
My head
says
hurts now.
she said I really she said we really wanted to get pregnant again. Apparently, it's Marcelo is I guess the name. Marcelo kept asking when we were going to have to get another baby, and I said one day. She said there were a couple of times I felt nauseous, so I took a test, but they were negative. However, I recently started to get nauseous again. So am I. So so I so I bought a test from a local pharmacy and it was positive. They would she said they would love to have a little princess, but will love them just the same if it's another boy. Speaking on Rocky Patch for the couple, I feel like why am I reading this like it's serious? I Miss Miss Moraes said that their relationship hadn't been the same. Of course, since she found it out he was cheated on, she was
Oh
cheated
my
on. Uh, she said, and you know, there,
Oh my
and
gosh.
yes, pictures of the couple on their wedding day.
The
She said,
mortified children in the background.
yeah, I mean, you folks cannot see this, but look in the back. Our podcast audio audience, they can't see this, but check out the
Oh,
video. But if you see the people in the back,
oh my gosh.
I mean,
That
she
little
looks so
girl, like, that little girl looking at her like, what in the
oh,
world is
oh,
going on?
oh my! Oh, this is not right. Okay. she she said that she hopes the new addition will improve their relationship and save our marriage. The unique romance began after Miss Murray's mother created the rag doll after her daughter complained about being single.
Oh my gosh.
Unique.
Okay,
Uh,
so for those who are listening,
yes,
in the pictures, understand
yes,
this rag doll is a full human height.
yes.
This is not a small rag doll.
No, it's not. It's not. And
Oh gosh.
and apparently on his wedding day he's not smiling. That's the other thing I picked up on.
I did notice
Um,
that.
yeah, there's yes. Um, yeah.
Oh,
So
family
any
portraits.
a whole family portrait. The unique romance began after I said that already. She f- she says she fell in love and got pregnant, but didn't want to have the baby out of wedlock, so they arranged a wedding front of 250 family and friends.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
she even claimed she gained 4 pounds during the pregnancy. It was a home birth that was live streamed with almost 200 people watching. Uh, Honestly, I was gonna go for a second story, but I think this is all I can do. Uh,
Okay.
I think we will end it on this. And this was your stupid news.
This was the weird and stupid news with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling. Oh my gosh.
I
If people didn't realize that I voiced these things live, they do now. Because I
yeah,
could not laugh. Oh
that
my
that
gosh.
I I had like two more, and that right there, I said, "Nah, I'm done. I'm done. I
Oh,
can't do any."
oh.
It wouldn't
When I
be it wouldn't be so believable if you didn't just see how serious her face is. You
oh,
just
I
look in
know.
these photos and you can just tell she is really into this. Um, I like to find there's kind of it's like a train wreck. I want to find out more, but then I don't. So
It,
anyway,
it was in the New York Post website has it.
does it?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry. I honestly I rarely ever fact check
No, I'm
you.
glad you
But
did.
when you were going on, I was like, I gotta look. This has got to be a
I
fake
I
news website.
I
And
thought I thought so too. So I thought so as well. So all these comments we're gonna have, it's like fake, fake, fake. You go find it. I wish, you know what? Truthfully, folks, I wish this was fake. I wish this was a complete lie.
I
I would,
wish
I would own it.
I wish stupid news wasn't real, but it
That's,
is.
but it is.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my! So I forget what the show's about tonight. Oh,
The
it's a
Spies.
the spies. It's a
Yes,
combination of things.
episode episode 23 of The
Yeah,
Mandalorian,
The
or chapter
Mandalorian.
23.
It's yeah.
The
I mean, there's
penultimate episode of
it's
season 3.
exactly what you just said. We there is so much that's going on in all of this, and it's
Oh, yeah.
really you know, and I mean, you know, after 7 episodes, you know, fans are finally we're seeing the big picture of what's happening here, and
Yes.
you know, and when it comes to this current season of The Mandalorian, you know, we, you know, not only we see Moff Gideon is back. I mean, we're just, you
Mhm.
know, if you've seen it, oh, spoiler. Let's do the
Oh,
spoiler
yeah,
thing.
spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
whatever. Like he didn't know he was going to come back. Okay, so
In saying he's going to come back from episode 1 of season 3. We
yeah, something
just
like yeah.
didn't know when it was going to happen.
But you know, we see Moff Gideon, he's back. You know, there's signs of a much deadlier situation. We have several
Mhm.
links, you know, that's popped up reference to the sequel trilogy. You know,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
so tonight we're gonna talk about all this stuff. You know, how this is gonna affect the franchise. We're gonna kind of break it down a little bit. Not actually, I don't know, go through every scene, but we're just gonna. There's just some things that are interesting in this, and um, there's so much. I mean, they really.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this kind of like this opened up like 3 paths. I mean, there's like several things that has opened up to this. And again, like we've talked about before, is how is all of this going to collide on the very last episode
Dude,
again?
like, everything we've talked about
Yeah,
came up in this episode.
yeah,
We
I mean
talked about,
exactly.
what if they tease Thrawn? And they teased Thrawn.
Well, they did, and they did, and again, we can jump all over the place, folks, because we've seen it, and we're going to have a nerd out on this.
Yes.
So anyway, we talk about, you know, there's a thing called the Shadow Council. Okay, now
Mhm.
we already know, you know, for those of you who are watching the video, I'll make reference to some of this stuff, but you know, we surprise, surprise, we knew that Ella, you know, like that was like a
Yes.
big surprise. Oh, her alliance is with Moff Gideon and the remnants of the Empire. Okay, like we didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah,
and then
I think the only thing we didn't know for sure was whether she was directly linked to Moff Gideon or
or
whether she was just going to be linked to Thrawn.
that's true. That's true.
But in this instance, yes, she is definitely directly linked to Moff Gideon.
Well, I mean, in the situation, I guess, you know, she goes to Moff Gideon. And of course, I think it's interesting. Okay, this is now the New Republic,
Mhm.
Coruscant. Okay, and how does a Imperial droid gets around the city? I have no idea. I mean, this is
Yeah,
a
that
small
was
this is not a small droid.
no.
The New Republic was destroying anything that had to do with any technology that had to do with the Empire. So I thought that was interesting, and of course, it was a, you know, holographic Moff Gideon talking to her, and she's
And,
giving a
and
report.
and a full communication back and forth. This wasn't
Yes,
a I'm recording something and sending it to you.
no,
This
this
was
is
an
a full
active
conversation.
communication.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so you know, they talked about how, you know, Varia and the parent, you know, she talked about how the pirates, which now links that she had something to do with the pirates. Okay.
Yes.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
And so he's thinking, I thought the New Republic was not going to be involved. And well, no, it was the Mandalorians. And so that
Hmm.
creates a whole new ball of wax in this series. And we all know that, you know, Mandalore that's happening too, about
Right.
leadership and trying to get back to Mandalore and build it back up again. And so there's just so much in this. But you mentioned Thrawn, and
Hmm.
there was some people in this which actually opens up Heir of the Empire, and
Yeah.
we have what's his name, Glad Palian, which is served under Grand Admiral Thrawn
Hmm.
in the in the in the novels.
Right.
And what I think is interesting, and so okay, so just kind of a back up here, Moff Gideon, he finds out these are Mandalorians, so he goes into this. He goes into his, I don't know, this chamber, and in here in this chamber, you see, uh, you know, a live, you know, transmission of all these remnants of the Empire,
Yep.
uh, warlords, if you want to say, and
Yeah.
basically, Moff Gideon is trying to see if they can pull them together, because he warns them and say, "Hey, this is the Mandalorians," and they're all thinking, "I thought the Mandalorians were done with." And of course, so this at first they weren't really they were reluctant to give him any resources,
Right.
but now Mandalorians came to play. Now they're concerned. And one of my favorite things in this is that uh, I think Galad Paleon, I'm going to call him Paleon, Galad Paleon, who served under Admiral Thrawn, he talks about, he's like, we should wait for the Admiral to come back. When he comes back, we can all be under his leadership. And of course, Moff Gideon kind of scoffs at that, you
Mm.
know. And so it makes me wonder if Moff Gideon might find his demise under Admiral Thrawn.
I was gonna say just some of the things that Moff Gideon said
Yes.
sounds to me like either he doesn't feel like Thrawn has enough power, or he feels like Thrawn is his equal at
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
But I definitely got an edge there of he's not excited about the fact that Thrawn is alive.
Yeah. I think Moff Gideon, uh, he has his own agenda, of course.
Mm, yeah,
If
absolutely.
I mean, we all see in the scene where he's going into that chamber where he's getting ready to have this communication with all these warlords. That's what I'm going to call
Hmm.
them. He walks past this cloning facility, and
Yes.
so so you have the clonings. So here we go. We're talking about clones. We know that a lot of this stuff is going to lead up to the sequels.
Yes.
So I mean, there's so anyway. I'm you know and we have another character who actually is a link to one of the generals that's going to be in the New Order later, and
Yep.
that would be what's his name? His name is Hux.
Oh yeah.
Yes, uh, Benthra Hux, and apparently he's working on the project of the Neuromancer, which is the key. I mean, my guess is the key
That
to eventually the rise of Palpatine. So
that is, yeah. Project Necromancer is now the somehow the Emperor returned.
now, I think is interesting is that it's funny because Moff Gideon comes off as if he's not interested in clones. There was a scene where I guess he was making making a plea for different resources, and Hux made some kind of comment about, "Oh, that's right," was asking me about Persian. And
Hmm.
Persian who had and they were wanting that
Right.
technology of the clones, and basically, okay, so the New Republic still has him, so what's going on? And and Moff Gideon kind of plays it off and says, "That's your concern. You're about the clones. You're about cloning.
Hmm.
I just keep an eye on my sector, like everyone keeps an eye on their own sector." And so Moff Gideon has a plan, And his plan is
Yes,
not his plan is to get to the top. And he want
absolutely.
yes, he's I don't really think he's looking I don't think he personally cares about bringing back the emperor. I think he personally cares about him being the
Yeah.
main person above everyone else. He wants to be the new order himself, and I think that's his aspirations. And so Thrawn is a threat to him, uh, gaining
And
any
since
type of
since we don't see him in the sequels,
yes,
I'm wondering, will we see his demise next episode at the hands of the Mandalorian or Bo-Katan, or
hmm
at the last moment, you know, a glimpse of Thrawn
yeah,
taking care of business. I
exactly.
yeah, I'm and okay, this is way jumping ahead,
No, that's
but
okay.
the scene where Moff Gideon shows up in his full battle armor
Yes, I
with
know.
the helmet
Yes,
is so indicative of Darth Vader
yes,
that
exactly.
it's very obvious that Moff Gideon does not consider himself a soldier
No,
in the army of the Empire.
no, he's not a follower.
He considers himself
Yeah.
the heir to the Empire.
Yes,
So
exactly.
uh, it would be interesting if if this future movie, if we don't see his demise next episode,
Yeah.
if this future movie that is supposed to culminate with all of the Mandoverse together, it
hmm
would be interesting if it was heir to the Empire, and
Yeah.
in amongst all these rebel forces trying to defeat them,
Yeah.
there's actually a big conflict between Moff Gideon and Thrawn.
Yeah.
So it's a battle on two fronts. They're battling each other, and they're battling the New Republic.
All right. Yeah. Well, the Shadow Council. I mean, they are just remnants of the Empire. They
Mhm.
basically they control. It's kind of like the Godfather movie. I mean, you bring in the families and they control this, they control that, they control that. Except there's no actual, uh, you know, leadership. There's not this structure, this command structure. And so uh, interesting. Some of the things that Moff Gideon asked for, and it was one thing was the Praetorian Guards,
Mhm.
and of course that in these Praetorian Guards reminds me of the same guards of Palpatine in the Return of the
Right.
Jedi. We
Oh,
all seen
absolutely.
we've seen them for Snoke's.
Yeah.
Was
I was gonna say
in
we saw them in the sequel trilogy
the
as well.
sequel trilogy. And so, and of course, too, I'm sure that they're kind of an evolution of that. But from my
Mhm.
understanding, these might be clones.
Oh, interesting.
Now, that's my guess. I could see them being clones, but I think it's interesting. Now we talked about episode back where Moff Gideon was taking off the New Republic
Hmm.
transport, and they saw Beskar scars in there. Well, now
Hmm.
we know why. I mean, you
Yes,
know, so I so
because
now
now we
he's
have the Empire wearing Beskar.
yeah yeah, which is interesting to be the least. But so we have that going on. We have the Mandalorians, finally come to grips that Bo-Katan is now the leader. She is leading
Hmm.
them. They left Navaria to go to Mandalore, and they have their fleet in orbit, and they send a scout party down
Hmm.
to survey the land. And and so in all of that, they come across other Mandalorians that survived the Great Purge,
Yes.
which was interesting to me.
Yeah.
They were on this. It's funny. It's almost like this barge. It's a sail
It
barge.
it was definitely reminiscent of pirates.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So I thought that was interesting. I mean, and of course you have new Mandalorian actors now in there.
Yep.
There's three of them. These they survived the purge,
Hmm.
and which makes for a conversation later on when they sit down. Bo-Katan, she shares because I know there's this. I know for for Axe Wolves who was
Yeah.
there during the purge, and then the Children of the Watch, which they were on the moon. There's some
Hmm.
contention there,
Right.
where
Yeah.
there's some contention. You were on the moon while we were down here. You
Yeah.
know, standing on Mandalorian during the purge, and so there's a whole lot there, and in the and I think there is some reference back to the Clone Wars on this, but Bo-Katan talks about how Moff Gideon got
Hmm.
the dark saber, and basically she gave it to him in an agreement that he would spare, and correct me if
Yes.
I'm wrong, spare Mandalore, and that of course
Yes.
did not,
Spare
of
the
course.
planet. She he's somebody said something about you know, we didn't surrender and we were slaughtered. And she
Yeah.
goes, no, that's not accurate. I did surrender.
Yes.
And he slaughtered us anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So and you can tell that she has regret for doing that in the very beginning. I mean,
Yes.
you can tell that many sitting at the table, fellow Mandalorians, not so much those of the of the Children of the Watch, but those who stayed on the planet
Hmm.
during the purge, you can tell that there was some mixed feelings there.
Yes.
You can tell there was, but eventually it seems like that kind of subsided. But then you see, and so we go from all of that. Oh, and we cannot forget Grogu Cop. Uh,
Oh my gosh.
but well, okay. Now, what do you think about Grogu? I mean, we're going to pause for a minute. Grogu Cop. I don't
I
understand
think it is the
why.
most bizarre
Sorry.
thing.
Thank you.
I I
Thank
don't
you.
have I mean, I love that we okay, so does this count as Grogu's first word?
No. No.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
No. No.
No.
No. And if you haven't watched the episode, you have no clue what we're talking
Yeah,
about right
no
now.
clue.
But I I did think it was totally bizarre.
It was bizarre.
Okay, so number one, I think it's almost humorous, you know, that we spent a whole episode trying to get IG-11 back up and running,
Yes.
and somewhere along the line, it wasn't communicated clearly that we're done with IG-11. We don't need him anymore.
Yeah.
But they're on Navarro. They're still working to rebuild him somehow.
Exactly.
So then they bring in this, this little
But
this
what?
robot for
But I mean,
Grogu to ride around in and control. I think it's humorous.
but
But I don't get I don't get the reasoning.
I don't get the reasoning either. I would have liked it. For a minute, I thought they actually were bringing IG-11 back. That they finally brought him back, and then
Yeah.
all suddenly, I see the innards in it, and I see I forget the name of the little
Oh yeah,
creatures
the
that
little robot guys, the guys working on the
that
robots.
works on the robots. But
Yeah.
and I thought to myself, really? I mean, why couldn't we just bring back IG-11? You know,
If
because
you're gonna bring back IG-11, just bring back IG-11. I mean,
yeah,
I like that Grogu likes it and he
yeah,
enjoys it.
mm-hmm,
Um, but honestly, the only real reason I come up with for why it happened was, and this is jumping back to the end, is so that Din can get captured and not have Grogu clinging on to him.
Yeah.
You
I
know that,
guess
I mean,
so.
I don't know of another good reason for it.
Yeah.
Um because it just was kind of awkward.
Well, it was
Other
awkward.
than just some comedic relief, it was funny. It was
Yeah, I
fun.
mean, well, that's the
I
only
have
thing
to
that,
admit,
yeah.
I was spoiled on this one. I
Yeah.
saw a meme about it before I saw the episode.
Did you? Okay.
Yes. And I
Okay.
was like, what is that? And then then it showed up on the show and I was like, oh, okay.
Ooh,
I
okay.
get it now. But that being said, I, it was funny. It was cute. I still don't understand the purpose.
I don't know if they're going to continue to use that or not. I just kind of think it's a weird mode of vehicle for Grogu.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I
Is
mean,
Grogu going to start carrying around laser pistols and shooting with IG-12?
I'm sure he's going to start riding the Mythosaurus. I'm sure that's going to happen. Uh, I've
Yeah.
read about I read about some of that where people go, yeah, he's going to ride the Mythosaurus. He's going to use
He
his
could have ridden
force
the Mythosaur
ability.
without. He could have done
Yeah.
that without the
Oh
without
no.
IG-12.
No, that's what I mean. There's no reason for that, but
I mean, and he had like the floating crib thing.
yeah.
So he didn't really need a
Yeah,
transport.
yeah.
I, yeah, I think it's weird, but whatever.
Now you were mentioning the that the idea maybe he's in IG, I guess they call him IG-12 now. I don't know what they
Yeah,
call him now,
yeah,
but kind of maybe why Din was captured and not Grogu because Grogu was not attached to him.
right.
So we get to that point and and of course, Vasler, gave his life,
Yes,
which I
that
think
was a
that
that was a
that
great
was a
scene.
great scene.
It was a great ending to his story arc. He
Yes.
um he this whole time he's gruff and
Yeah.
rough, but he's faithful and he's protective.
Yes, he is.
He is a good father in that
Yes.
in that sense.
Yes,
He
he is.
stands up for what he believes in,
Yeah.
and that's who he is,
Yes.
even when it's rough and tumble. I did think the little fight on the sand skiff or whatever that thing is, the
Yeah.
the pirate ship, um, that definitely fit his character,
Yeah, it does.
um, and it fit Axe Wolf's character. It
Yeah,
made sense
exactly.
for those two to get into it at some point.
Yeah.
That was going to be a thing.
Yes.
Um, I, but I definitely think he had a great ending to his story arc. He stood up for what he believes in. He protected his clan
Yeah.
and gave his life for them.
Yeah. I thought being battle hardened Mandalorians, I thought it was interesting how they fell into the trap of running after those who were running away. I mean,
Mm,
you could just sense there was a trap there, you know,
yeah,
and but they
yeah.
played
I
right
I
into
knew
it. I
I
mean,
could tell really quick. I was like, this is going to go badly. I'm
yes,
not sure how it's going to go badly, but it's going to go badly. I wasn't exactly expecting a full blown Imperial base,
yeah, I
but
know.
it connects a lot of things. You recall there was a point early in the season where Din was flying away from interceptors,
Yeah,
and we discussed the fact that interceptors don't have light speed capability.
that's right.
So they had to be based somewhere close.
Close
But we
to
never
Boca
saw a
Yeah,
sheep. But we never saw a ship.
yeah.
Well, now we have that explanation
Now we
because
know.
Mandalore has become base for them. So can I spin off into speculation
Yes.
world? Okay, so I was reading a lot online in the last day or two. Because the title says The Spies,
Yeah. Yeah.
but then there doesn't ever seem to be any spies.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are speculating there is a double agent in the Mandalorian team. That is the speculation.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have pointed to the armorer.
Yes.
I don't have you
Yeah.
read this?
I read that.
Uh,
Yeah.
with the idea that she's a traitor, she was never to be trusted, and that she made all this armor um for Moff Gideon's troops.
Mm-hmm.
So that's some people have that theory.
Yeah.
I can see where you're going with that, but without a reveal in the
Yeah.
episode called The Spies,
Yeah.
I don't buy that.
Yeah. I agree.
So as many Uranus jokes as we made earlier,
And we love them
I'm
Uranuses.
I'm gonna go a little Bible on your rear.
Oh yeah.
So there are lots of articles out there
Mm-hmm.
who compare the Mandalorians
Mm-hmm.
to the modern Jewish people.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've read these articles.
I have not read it, but I haven't read it.
Okay. So most of them compare them to modern day Jewish people, scattered,
Mm-hmm.
coming back together, the Holocaust, is compared to the
The
Purge of
Purge.
Mandalore,
Yeah.
so all these modern iterations. However, I'm going to go back a little further and still say Jews, but rather Hebrews.
Yeah.
There's a biblical story
Mm-hmm.
where um, the people are displaced from their homeland
Mm-hmm.
and they go to return. But rather than all going into this going back to this world to this land to reclaim it, they
Mm-hmm.
send a small contingent of spies.
Spies.
Specifically, they send
Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
And in the biblical story, now this isn't a perfect analogy by any
Yeah.
means. This is not a
Yeah.
perfect analogy. In the biblical story, they send 12, 10 come back and say, there's no way we can take it because
Yeah.
there are strong people in the land.
Yeah.
2 come back and say, we can definitely take it. Okay, so that's the Bible story. In this instance, we have a group of people who have been displaced from their world. They send a small contingent down to
Mm-hmm.
spy out the land, in air
Yes.
quotes, to see if they can take it back,
Yeah.
to see if they can recover it.
Gotcha.
When they arrive, they find a strong contingent of bad guys living there.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a good fit that The Spies is actually not a call to one or more of the Mandalorians being a double agent, but rather a callback to this biblical idea of spies going into the land of Canaan
I
to spy
gotcha.
out the land.
Gotcha.
That is my contention.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's a good one because there are so many other religious overtones that have been throughout this season,
Oh,
more so than
definitely.
any of the other
Yeah.
seasons. I mean,
Yeah.
we literally had 2 other episodes
We had a
called
shard.
the
Yeah. We had.
yeah, we had a shard that literally translated to a Bible verse about
Yeah.
the plagues in Egypt where the
Yeah.
children of Israel escaped. Uh,
Yeah. Exactly.
we had 2 other titles that are very religious oriented.
Mm-hmm.
We had the convert
Mm-hmm.
and the apostate.
Yeah.
Those are both strong religious connotation words.
Yeah.
So I think The Spies is similar
I can see that.
in that way.
I really can see that.
I
Yeah.
mean, because this season has had redemption, it's had baptism, it's
Baptism. I'm
had
going to say that. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
had faith.
Yes.
It's all these religious overtones. I really feel like I feel strongly that that is why it was called The Spies, and it
Hmm.
has nothing to do
To
with
do
double
with.
agents. I mean, you could push it to say the one girl, I can't remember her name. She is literally a
Well,
spy. She is
yeah.
literally a double agent.
Yes.
So I mean, you could say that, but I think my analogy works better with the
Yeah.
title.
That makes sense.
So that
That makes
has
sense.
nothing really to do. It
No,
doesn't
I
have no bearing on the story at all.
well,
But I
no, I
think
mean,
those who are
yeah,
trying to say that the armorer is a turncoat,
yeah, I don't.
if she is, I would be really surprised.
I would too, and I think you're right. I think the reference to the spies could possibly be the small scouts going down to Mandalore and just finding out because basically they're spying on what's going on down there. If you can take it, if you
Yeah,
want to use that terminology, but yeah, there's been a lot of faith related throughout this whole thing with the
yeah,
Mandalorians, and it's about the sect and
mhm,
yeah, I mean, it's funny you said the baptism because I was thinking of having to go to the wells of the water, living,
yep,
and so, but anyhow, there's a lot there, and then Bo-Katan becoming in that faith,
yeah,
and so I find it really fascinating how I really would like to know what the writers, I mean, I would love to see behind the scenes what the writers were thinking
yeah,
doing this, and I mean, they had to pull from some of that stuff. I mean, there's some obvious, there's
yeah.
some
Oh yeah,
obvious, similarities there, but on the other thing, we can speculate on a few things. So we know that okay, Din is captured by Moff
right.
Gideon. So I'm sure that this next episode will probably evolve one to free him if he
Mhm.
gets freed, and if this falls into season 4, I don't know.
Do we
But
know is has season 4 been greenlit?
it has been greenlit, so we know
Okay,
there will be a season 4.
okay,
Actually, they said it right from the beginning when the show started, before the season started, that Mandalorian season 4 was already green
okay,
lighted. So
good.
it's almost, I think
Well,
they know
I
the direction it's going. So
then I think this speculation that I've seen a lot of people say is
hmm
completely bogus.
yeah,
I've seen a lot of people say that Din will die in the
mm-mm,
next episode,
mm-mm,
and Bo Katan is now the Mandalorian.
mm-mm,
I
mm-mm.
don't buy that at
I don't
all.
buy that. And
Especially, I didn't buy it before.
no,
Knowing that it's greenlit for a fourth season, I
yeah,
definitely don't buy it.
yeah, and I'm odd that yeah, I don't buy it either. I don't see. I mean,
What I did see was apparently some of either the producers or the director said this next episode will be very sad.
hmm,
So if that's accurate, I don't expect us to see a positive resolution
no,
to whatever happens this
yeah,
season.
kind of doing a little bit of what are you saying? Release day speculation. Yeah, they talk about yes, 4. Uh, yeah, and part of me, and other thing I was speculating too. I could see Moff getting disrespecting Din and taking his helmet off.
Yes.
Um,
Oh,
I
absolutely.
so I
I,
can
I,
definitely
I
see
can't
that.
I can't imagine that won't happen.
That won't happen.
I know. I think it absolutely will happen.
Yeah,
I
no,
can't
I
imagine
agree.
a situation where it doesn't.
Yeah,
I'm
I
honestly surprised it didn't happen right then and there in front of the other Mandalorians.
I'm surprised too, to be honest with you, that it would have happened. That would have been a great time for it to happen. Of course, following that, I mean, Moff Gideon sends off the bombers to. And that's the last thing we see, where Moff Gideon
Right.
sends off the bombers to go take out the fleet that's orbiting above Mandalore. But yeah, so that's interesting. I did not know that they were speculating, or not speculating, but The word is that it's going to be a very, very sad end to the series, or not the end of the series, but the season. And
Yeah.
the only thing I can think of, I mean, the only thing to me that would be sad would be Grogu and Din being separated.
Mm.
That would be very sad. Or Mandalore, because, honestly, we don't know till after, because this is all new, the whole New Republic, and there's still a Mandalore. I don't remember if there was any writing. I mean, the last thing we've heard of Mandalore was what happened with the Purge, which was part of the Clone Wars. The story in that, and what was in the Republic. I mean, within the animated series Rebels.
Mm.
So, I thought first, well, does the planet of Mandalore, is destroyed, but again, there's a base there. Moff Gideon has his Imperial base there. So at this point, I can't see that happening, at least in this last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the fleet is annihilated, and the largest, most of all the Mandalorians, are in this
Mm-hmm.
fleet. I don't know if there was any left behind. Maybe the children was left
That's
behind.
I was gonna say that's something that's a little unclear. Um, just because of manpower.
Yeah,
Like I've wondered, is this all the Mandalorians that are left,
yeah,
or is this just all the Mandalorians that Disney could afford to put on screen?
yeah, yeah. I don't
You
know.
know what I mean? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
is there a huge contingent
yeah. I don't
of
know the
Mandalorians
Yeah,
that didn't go
yeah,
that are still on Navarro and are still carrying on?
yeah.
Or yeah, so I don't
I
know.
mean, I know. I don't. Now I believe. I mean, I'm sure the younglings are not on this battle. I mean, I'm sure there has to be some people left behind on Navarro, you know, waiting for the return of the Mandalorian, the warriors that eventually will come back. Because
Yeah.
again, I mean, I think it's a search party, but also they're supported by um, you know by their ships. So I think there are some back, but how many I don't know. Um,
Mm.
but the only thing I don't know is speculation. What do you think the speculation would be if they're saying this is going to be a sad ending? I mean, the thing is, the only sad ending I can think of that makes sense to me is the separation between Grogu and Din. And
So so this is the quote from Brendan Wayne, who is the actor who he's the stunt double for in Din's suit. So when
okay,
you see Din with a helmet on, this is who it is.
okay,
His quote is, "This next episode is going to make you wish you hadn't asked for another episode. It
wow,
might just hurt too much." So speculation could be. I mean, Din could die. I doubt that. Bo could die.
I could see that.
That could happen.
I could see that,
Um, I'm not sure who would take her place. Probably not Den. Maybe Axe.
or maybe this is the end.
Or
This is the end of the Mandalorians
or the end of Mandalore as a planet.
as a planet.
So another possibility is the armorer.
Yeah,
And if she's the only one who can, if the armorer dies, can someone take her place?
that's true.
I
That's
don't
true.
I don't know that in the Mandalorian culture. Can someone take her place if she
Yeah.
dies? It's unclear.
I mean, we know that Beskar armor can be made because Moff Gideon is doing it, but
But does it
will
count
it
as
doesn't count
Mandalorian
as
armor
Mandalorian armor exactly.
if it's not made by someone in the right sect?
Yeah, yeah,
I don't these are questions I don't have answers to.
yes.
So but
Neither.
there's so many people that could die in this next episode. I mean, Vizsla, I was not surprised that Vizsla died.
No, I wasn't either.
Honestly, the minute he said, I'll cover us," I knew he was going to die.
Yeah,
There was no doubt in my mind
Yeah.
that this was going to be his demise.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was sad enough because I liked his character.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I just don't think they're going to kill off Din. This is not the Lord of. This is not Game of Thrones. I think Din and Grogu is a cash cow for Disney, so I don't. That's not going
Absolutely.
to happen. I can see Bo-Katan, which I really like. I really like Katie. I can't remember pronounce her last name, but the lady
I'm
who
not
plays
sure.
Bo-Katan. But
Yeah.
anyway, I really like
I like
her.
the actress.
I
She's
like the
great.
actress. I think
I
she's doing
like
a
the
great
character.
job. But I can see her.
I would hate to see her go, but I could see why it could happen.
It could happen, yeah. And so, you think we're going to see any of our any of our CGI friends show up? CGI Luke or CGI
I hope not. I don't want Luke Skywalker to come to the rescue
again? Yeah,
again. If anything, I want Carl Weathers' character
yeah.
to come in, or better yet, um, the New Republic to
I
buck
want to
orders and show up.
the cavalry.
That
That's what I
I
want.
now there you go. The cavalry could come in, and this character that he's kind of a side character, but we kind of all like him, who's a Republic Ranger, could
Yeah,
die.
yeah. Or I have another one. Navarro is destroyed.
Navarro was destroyed. Hmm. Could be. I
I
don't.
I don't
I don't.
know.
I don't. I don't
Or
feel
the
like
city,
that's.
or the city itself, the people
Well, the
itself.
city's already been demolished once,
Yeah, that's
and they've
true.
started rebuilding. I
Yeah,
mean, that's you briefly saw that in
yeah.
the early scenes. They were rebuilding the city, so I don't know. I don't know that that one works for me.
Hmm.
I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I just don't see that it.
It
Now, Carl Weathers' character could die.
could die. Yeah. I think if someone's saying that you are going after you're seeing the episode, you wish that they would not have made another episode, and saying that has to be something that's dire, something that
Yes.
the fans are attached to, and it's
Yeah.
going to cut them deep. Now, it cut as
I
deep if
just
something happened to Grogu or happened to Din. That would cut me deep. I mean, that would really. But again, I can't see them killing off a cash cow like that.
no, I can't either.
I mean, so I don't know. It would have to be one of the other support characters. Bo-Katan is probably the closest person I can see um, having that happen, because you think about it, eventually the whole Mandalore thing has to eventually be extinct anyhow, as far as I know, because we see no sign of Mandalorians in the trilogy. I mean, in the
Yeah.
sequels. So, as a culture, is it destroyed as a culture? I don't know.
Is Din the last
The
standing?
last standing, and that I can see. I can
Yeah.
see where Din is the last standing because he's captured,
Yeah.
and the rest are wiped out. Grogu somehow, he makes it with IG-12. He just scoots away with IG-12, does a little robot move.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a little conflicted. I mean, the other option, since we know there is going to be a season 4,
Yeah.
just leave it on a horrible cliffhanger
Yeah.
where it's so dire but unresolved,
Yeah.
and you don't know, did Bo-Katan survive? Did Din survive?
Survive.
Did Grogu survive?
Yeah.
Now that could be sad and emotional,
Yeah.
but knowing there's a season 4, I would think probably this.
It's kind of hard to call it the Mandalorian if the Mandalorian's not there. What's the deal with Mandalorian? Is he a
Exactly.
Mandalorian? So yeah, I don't know if I don't have anything else that I can really pick through. I just know that um, I just know there's I don't know how they do it, how they bring it all together at the very end. It's I don't.
Well, I
Um,
will say there were a couple of episodes that probably never needed to happen.
oh, I agree.
That if that if the last like the last episode with Lizzo and Jack Black,
It didn't need to
if
happen.
that episode never happened, it would have been easy to fit in some bit where she goes and recruits everybody back. And
Yes.
where Din, I mean, because the point of the
Yeah, that
whole
was
point of the episode was not this one scene.
no, no. It was basically a Scooby Doo mystery series where
Yes.
they pull the sheet over the guy's head. Oh my goodness, it's Mister.
Yeah.
It's Christopher Lloyd. You know,
Well, and the whole episode on Coruscant.
yeah.
If that one wasn't in the series,
I don't
in
think it would
it
have.
wouldn't really change the story a lot.
No, no,
The
it
only
wouldn't.
thing it really affects is the Republic definitely can't use his cloning technology.
Yeah,
That's
and
really the only thing it did.
it highlight the inefficiency of the New Republic.
Yeah.
But I don't
But we
think you
all kind of
really.
knew
But
that.
we knew that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it. I don't think it
That's
really
the
needed to
whole
be.
reason. That's the whole reason the sequel trilogy starts the way it does.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the new rebels are convinced that the new republic is ineffective. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
so
Yeah, that's
we
really.
already knew that was the thing. We didn't need to
Yeah,
necessarily
we
see
didn't
it
need
again.
necessarily see it again. Yeah. So, well, it'd be interesting to see what's going to happen on the next episode.
I'm
Um,
excited. When we
we'll
drop
find out.
this episode, it will have already come out. So
That's right. That's right. That's the fun part of doing a show weekly on a show that comes out weekly. But
yeah.
but yeah, leave your comments below. Check us out on speakingnerdy.com where we have all our YouTube videos you can listen. It'll take you to all our podcasting locations and you can listen to us from Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, whoever. Just we're on your favorite podcast stations, and as well as on YouTube. And you can also watch us on YouTube, which is
Mhm.
YouTube/Speaking Nerdy. But I don't have anything else. I do know that it's going to come to an end here this coming episode. So,
Yep.
any final words of wisdom?
I don't have anything. No wisdom for sure.
All right.
I've been wrong every week. So
Same here. So, folks, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next week.
cast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Poe. Well, they really need to do something about this whole telescope looking at people's anuses.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
it gets really bad. I mean, jaw dropping image of Uranus captured by NASA Webb Telescope. Why is NASA so interested in my butthole?